we were not thinking of that, of course, when we were living it, because we were living something very intense, and it was a beautiful life and beautiful moment. So we were not conceptualizing, we were living projects. But I certainly know it's been of an extreme importance, because I see how many people ask all the time about this initial project, which is somehow a cult exhibition, not only in France but in the US, in many countries. So yes, I can only but acknowledge that it's been important to me differently. It's been important to me because I was going through it. And I have less memory of it than maybe people that never saw it. For me, it's like the memory of a fantastic moment you spend with friends by the sea in summer, and doing things by yourself, being able to be in a total improvisation situation, opening a gallery, just to be able to close the door because you decide that today you don't want to work and you prefer to go for a little visit or with your friends. So, I mean, we were also somehow happy that we felt we were doing something a little like wrong, and this was lovely. But it's not cult for me. For me, it's an it's fantastic memory, but it's not cult. It's not cult for others. So, I mean, the question is the result only when you want to make it in a very productive, effective, money-making, reward-bringing way. If you don't care of the result, which one probably should, a position that one should stand with while doing profoundly, sincerely and collectively a project, unless it's, I don't speak of course of NGO, of course, where the collective obviously is totally drifting towards a result, and the result is the most important thing, because the result is what you want to offer or give. But since I still consider that the activity of artistic practice and curatorial practice is something that should be carrying the most of hope, desire and liberty, possibly even within heavy constraints of money, of schedule and agendas. So in regards to those practices, I think the result is totally secondary.
The most important is the process.
It's the moment that you share while trying to define what could be the result, maybe. But I also tend to think that curatorial collective practice is probably more difficult in regards of a result. It's often more chaotic, it's difficult to get a balance. So in terms of more formalistic, collective curating is probably more difficult for a nice, clean show that will please a lot to the visitors. But if there is a trial that the collective practice interrogates itself while it develops a project together, it's certainly much more rich, but maybe not for the public. Unless some... Yes. Mainly, yes, certainly. But it's not only about problems, you know, it's like it's not only works which are critical works. I mean, or like for instance the work of Philippe Pareno doesn't have such a precise, comprehensive, critical structure that LIAM works carries. But so with different contents in both of those oeuvres from the early 19th till now, there are certainly for one or the other, if we want to match the two most visible, I would say probably, at least from those that I work with, like Philippe Pareno shows and works are always like reusing elements that come from the very early 90s. Sometimes it's not something that people today, viewers today can notice, but we do, of course. And LIAM is like an ongoing, like always like dealing with same issues, at least for the written part, which is after a moment very difficult to separate from the objects, let's say. Like this film he did instead of a retrospective, which was mixing his text with images of his shows and his writings, I mean, not his So I don't know. Yes, I do think. I just think we are always repeating ourselves. I think, unfortunately, I think everything is evolving very slow unless the number of commodity which surrounds us and which is always bigger. But otherwise, the whole evolution, I think, is very slow, for the good and for the bad.